You ever see someone so convinced they're in the right, they don't even pause before dialing 911? That was Karen's sunglasses, like satellite dishes, veins bulging purple pacing along my brand new cedar fence like it had personally insulted her ancestors. I need the police here immediately. She barked into her phone loud enough for the squirrels to scatter. My neighbor has illegally blocked my access road. This is false imprisonment. She was flailing like she thought the dispatcher could see her through the phone. What she didn't know, what she couldn't possibly have guessed, was that the neighbor she just tried to accuse of a felony was the county's chief attorney. Yeah, that was me. It all started 3 years back when I bought 5 acres in Pine Valley Estates, a picture-perfect neighborhood with tennis courts, towering oaks, and an HOA so uptight they probably held board meetings in pressed khakis. My property bordered the tennis courts, but it was zoned as farmland, grandfathered in and all. I wanted peace, a place to grow things, maybe raise a few chickens. What I got instead was Karen Henderson, the HOA president, neighborhood watchdog, and self-declared moral compass of suburban living. 2 weeks after I moved in, she marched up my driveway, clipboard clutched like a scepter, heels clicking like a metronome for judgment. "I'm Karen Henderson, president of the HOA," she snapped, skipping introductions. "That truck in your driveway is 3 inches over the allowed height limit. You'll need to move it or face a fine." I smiled and calmly explained that the HOA's vehicle code didn't apply to my parcel. It was zoned agricultural, exempt by law. She didn't like that. Her face tightened like she'd just bitten into a lemon rind. Then she pivoted and stomped away. The next day, she was back, this time with an issue about the color of my mailbox. That's when I realized this wasn't going to be a neighborly coexistence. This was going to be a siege. Karen had a problem with everything. My chickens were too loud, my flowers were weeds, my compost was a biohazard. I'd counter each complaint with official ordinances, copies of zoning maps, and even a few polite letters. Didn't matter. Karen wasn't here to follow rules. She was here to enforce her version of them. The real tipping point came when I noticed her crossing my back pasture every morning, same time, same route, tennis gear in hand, cutting right through my property like it was her personal shortcut to the courts. At first I figured it was a one-off. Maybe she got turned around. But after a week, the trail she carved into my grass said otherwise. I tried being reasonable. I asked her to use the public path like everyone else. She laughed. "I've used this for 15 years. That gives me an easement by custom," she declared like she was quoting scripture. I looked it up. She was full of it. Still, I sent letters, offered to install a shared path, even tried meeting her in good faith. She responded by filing more complaints, more absurd each time. My rooster noise violation, my heritage apple trees pest hazard, my veggie garden unsightly from the road. But Karen wasn't just playing HOA president. She wanted to turn the neighborhood against me. She hosted a watch meeting, which turned out to be a smear campaign claiming I was building a commercial farm, bringing in livestock, dragging down property values. I spent hours debunking it all to concerned neighbors, showing plans, sharing receipts, offering goat petting sessions if they ever became reality. Most were fine. Some even laughed. But Karen, she was livid. That's when I built the fence. 6-foot cedar, all within legal bounds, even set back 6 inches from the property line to avoid any dispute. Surveyed, permitted, documented. When it finally went up, I watched from my kitchen as Karen approached it like it was a betrayal. She just stood there, staring at it, fists clenched. Then she stormed to my front door, banged like she was kicking in the gates of hell, and screamed, "You take this down immediately." I calmly explained that the fence was legal code compliant and on my property. She stormed off, screaming about lawsuits in court. The next morning, coffee in hand, I heard her pacing along the fence, still shouting, but now into her phone. "I'm being imprisoned," she yelled. "He's blocked my legal right-of-way." I stepped out just in time to hear her demand a police dispatch for a false imprisonment emergency. I just shook my head. She was free to roam her yard, walk around, leave her property, just not mine. 15 minutes later, 2 squad cars showed up. And here's the kicker, I knew both officers. Officer Martinez had testified in several cases I'd prosecuted. Officer Chen, fresh off a property law seminar I helped organize. They were polite but clearly confused. Counselor Martinez said with a smirk, "We've got an unusual call this morning. I invited them in, served coffee, and laid out everything: permits, surveys, letters, photos of Karen's trespassing. Their faces told me I didn't even need to finish. We stepped outside. Karen was by the fence, arms crossed, ready to launch. "Officers, arrest this man for false imprisonment and easement destruction." Martinez held up a hand. "Ma'am, we've reviewed everything. This is not false imprisonment. This is trespassing prevention." Karen looked like someone had unplugged her brain. "But I'm the HOA president," she stammered. "He can't just block a path I've used for 15 years. Officer Chen stepped forward. "Actually, yes, he can. And that easement you keep claiming, it doesn't exist. Also, you should know Mr. Johnson here is the county's chief attorney." And that's when the color drained from her face. Martinez wasn't done. "Karen calling 911 for a made-up emergency is misuse of services. Technically, we could charge you today. We won't. But this is your only warning. Do it again and it's a criminal offense." Karen's bluster vanished. She backed away, mumbling something incoherent, her cheeks redder than a fire truck. Chen added, "You might want to let your HOA board know what happened today, before they hear it from someone else." They left her there alone, seething, rattled. And like any good suburban soap opera, word spread fast. By that night, board members were calling me, apologizing, asking for my side. Within 72 hours, an emergency meeting was scheduled. I didn't even have to push for it. The room was packed, standing room only. Karen looked like a ghost in pearls. When it was my turn, I laid it all out: trespassing, harassment, phony violations, misuse of law enforcement. The board barely needed a vote, but they did, and it was unanimous. Karen was removed as president. Her past citations were put under investigation for abuse of authority. And when the gavel fell, Karen bolted, knocking over her chair on the way out, mascara running, pride shattered. 2 weeks later, I got a letter from the new board. Formal apology. All complaints dismissed. They even offered to reimburse me for legal costs. I declined the money, but thanked them for finally bringing sanity back to Pine Valley. As for Karen, I haven't seen her since, at least not up close. Though, one morning I did hear a high-pitched shriek and rushed outside to find her drenched hair dripping, standing by my fence. I'd installed a motion-activated sprinkler system, perfectly legal, highly effective, and a little poetic, don't you think? Some justice comes in court, some in cold, high-pressure bursts of water, but either way, it feels damn good. What would you have done in my place? Do you think Karen deserved worse, or was the sprinkler enough? Let me know down in the comments.